Hey everybody, Chris here from VarsityGaming. So today I am going to be going over the patch notes for Operation Red Crow, the fourth DLC for Rainbow Six Siege. So these patch notes came out about 5 hours ago or so, around 12 o'clock, but I'm only just getting around to reading them now. So basically the structure I want to go through is I will summarize the different portions of the patch notes and then tell you my thoughts and what I think about the changes that they've made. Alright, so right off the bat, we're going to go with the new operators, Helena and Echo. So for those of you who haven't seen their trailers or know anything about their loadouts, Hibana is the attacker, which basically has a combination of both Ash's grenade launcher and Thermite's breaching, and she puts 6 of these little, I want to call them ninja stars, I guess, or shurikens. She shoots them on the wall, and then she can detonate them at a later time, and they will create holes in reinforced walls, much like Thermite's breach charge. The difference is that the holes are much smaller and she can detonate multiple at the same time. And for the defender, we have Echo, who has the first drone on defense, which is going to be an aerial drone. How this works is he throws the drone on the ground and it can drive around, or I guess hover off the ground, and then you can go up onto the roof, at which point you can't move the drone anymore. Once it's up there on the roof, it stays stationary and it goes cloaked, aka invisible. It's pretty tough to see, I guess, but with an IQ or a team that knows what they're doing, I'm sure you could easily spot it. But what this drone can do is that it can disorient attackers, and how this works is it sends out a shockwave. And once the shockwave hits an attacker, if they continue to move, the shockwave is just going, or the disorientation is just going to get worse and worse. The only way to counter it is to stay on the ground, stop moving, or wait for it to subside. I think as you're moving, it will subside eventually, but it'll just take a lot longer than if you just stay still. So those are the special abilities of the operators. Hibana, by the way, is a 3 speed, 1 armor attacking operator, while Echo is a 3 armor, 1 speed defender, which is something that a lot of people have been requesting. Every single DLC so far has been 2 and 2 or 3 speed, 1 armor, which has left a lot of people kind of mad, and understandably so, because the game is then promoting a lot of run and gun as opposed to camp and secure. And now we're going to take a look at their weapons. So here are their loadouts. Hibana has 2 primary weapons, a Supernova and a Type 89. Supernova is a shotgun, Type 89 is an assault rifle. I think it's an M16 variant. And she has 2 secondary weapons, the P229 and the Bearing 9. This one over here, the bottom, I think it's the P229. I'm not sure if this is in the proper order or not. But overall, anyways, the bottom one is a machine pistol. It is, I guess, similar to the SMG-11 in that it has a very high fire rate, but luckily it does not have an ACOG, which is something we'll talk about once we get lower into the patch notes. For her gadget, she has the Claymore and stun grenades, and as I said, she is a 3 speed and 1 armor operator. Echo, on the other hand, has the same shotgun as Hibana, and for his gun, he has the MP5 SD. And for his secondaries, he has the same thing that Hibana has. Same 2 guns, nothing changes there. For his gadgets, though, he has something interesting here, which it says that he has a Nitro Cell C4 and a deployable shield, yet the pictures show a shield and barbed wire. I'm honestly not exactly sure which one he has, but I think it's safe to say that the deployable shield is a for sure. I'm going to guess it's going to be the barbed wire for his gadget, since I feel like they would not mess that up. It might just be a typo in the Nitro Cell. Anyways, like I said, he is a 1 speed, 3 armor operator, so he'll be very campy and on his drone a lot, meaning he will need someone to spot him or make sure that he is safe. Because as soon as they breach into the room and he's on his drone, he's not going to know unless someone tells him. But yeah, that's it for the new operators. These are coming out tomorrow, actually on Thursday, November 17th. And I will be showing you guys a lot of footage of them. We'll keep moving on through the patch notes. The new map is called the Skyscraper. The map is interesting, to say the least. It has a lot of outdoor room for the attackers, and I feel like it's more balanced towards attacking winning on the overall. It has fairly high destructibility and a lot of vision on each room, so what that means is you can see across multiple rooms just through doorways and open areas, and you don't really need too many breaches to actually get in. There's only 1 or 2 doors for every room, and almost every wall is destructible, so it kind of brings in the element that they've been using in every other DLC, where they just make the newest map as destructible as possible. This is more sided towards the attackers, as that means they have multiple ways to get into the room, but it also makes it interesting for the defenders, meaning they can't just camp the room and lock it down. They actually have to move and counter the attackers. Overall, I'm pretty excited for it though. It looks really cool and different, to say the least. From what I've seen on the streams and videos, the attackers have a lot of room when they spawn in. They have huge open areas that they can go through, and they can walk around almost the entire building. Meanwhile, the defenders have one main building that they defend, and I believe tunnels. Maybe they're just long hallways to other portions of the map where they could then possibly snipe the attackers or try to flank them, similar to how Favela works. Granted, guys, I'm going based off of what I've seen on overviews of the map in matches and nothing else. Like, I've not actually played it, so I'm not too sure, but I think it'll be really interesting. And so next we have the skins, which are, they bring in 3, I think, or maybe 2 every season that are themed with the DLC. They actually look pretty nice. It's the classic Japanese wave that you see on a lot of paintings and art pieces. And then this is more mythological, I guess. It has the tiger and the dragon. And then the last one, I'm not too sure what it's supposed to be. I think it's looks like a dove, and what honestly looks like pot that's red. So yeah, those are the skins for the DLC. And on top of that, now we have operator skins. So for those of you who didn't watch the stream, I'll put the clips of the MVP highlights for the operators. These are new skins coming out for, I think it's only these 3 so far: Sledge, Thermite, and Capcan. So they are skins for their entire body, which changes their entire look, but still tries to maintain them somewhat identifiable. So Sledge has some sort of Scotsman Highlander and somewhat medieval look to him. Thermite, I'm honestly not too sure what to call it. Capcan has what basically is an Afghan gear outfit. And on top of this, when you buy these skins, you also get victory animations. So when you're the MVP in a match, your character will do something special. I think Sledge smashes his hammer a bunch. Thermite has his hands on fire, which is apparently some neat party trick that a lot of chemists usually know. And then I don't really remember what Capcan's is, but it'll be on the screen for you guys to see. In total, the set will come with a uniform, the headgear, operator card, a charm, and an operator name. I'm not too sure what the operator name is, but we'll see. And then also includes the animation that I just mentioned. Now we're moving more into the changes made to the game and different aspects that will change. So first up, we're going to talk about the caliber-based destruction. So not too long ago, they posted a video, showing what the caliber-based destruction will look like. And overall, I was not too impressed. What it basically means is each bullet will have a different size based on how, the caliber of the bullet, and it'll destroy the environment differently. So meaning a pistol will make much less impact on a wall as opposed to Glaz's sniper rifle. And the big one that a lot of people have been saying is the, I guess, quote unquote, Tachanka buff is his turret will just shred walls now, because his bigger bullets in his turret will just make huge ass holes. Overall, I was not too impressed with it though. When I saw the videos, it looked like essentially you could shoot a wall 3 times with any gun, and then all of a sudden just a huge chunk of the wall would vanish just out of thin air. So it seems more of like a gimmick where you can shoot a few small holes and they look different, but as soon as you shoot more than 3, the entire wall just gets destroyed and it's gone. Doesn't matter what kind of gun you have. Alright, and next we have the battle dress uniforms, which are for the new operators. This is basically a new look to them already, even though we haven't even received them, but they're coming out with a second skin. This is exclusively for people who have the season pass for year 1, and they will get this on day 1. It's similar to how season pass holders got exclusive skins for Cavieta and Capitao, even though I'm pretty sure those became available for people later. I think these though will not be on sale, and you can only get them if you have the season pass, which is nice for people who already have it. Would not say buy a season pass just to get these skins though. I don't think that's worth it. And like I mentioned earlier, I was pretty sure that they introduced new uniforms. It looks like they did for Capitao, Cavieta, Ash, Sledge, Thatcher, Mutes, and Smoke, meaning they'll all get relatively small changes to their uniform, which a lot of people have been complaining will be really hard to differentiate between people, but from what I've seen, it really won't be that bad. Ash's skin is literally just a pink shirt and brighter red hair. Capitao's looked like he was wearing flannel, I think, unless that was Ash, and I might be mixing them up. And then the rest of them won't be too bad. The only ones that I'm really worried about are the ones with the victory animations. Those look very different, but I feel like for the most part you'll still be able to tell them apart. Alright, and now we're getting to more of the improvements and bug fixes part of the patch notes. So this is where they've made a lot of changes, and I've made one video on this already, but a lot of people might disagree with what they're doing. So first off, for game balancing, so first up, what they finally changed is the damage done to arms and neck shots. So I'm sure if you guys watch the streams, you probably hear Klein and me complaining a shit ton about shooting someone in the head and their head snapping back, but them not taking much damage, or not taking any damage at all. The not damage at all is more of a hit registration issue, but when they take a small amount of damage and they should be dead, that is what's being changed in this patch. So neck used to have a different damage multiplier to the head. The head had a multiplier which would be an insta-kill no matter what, whereas the neck had much less, so they could take a few shots to the neck. Now they've changed it so if you shoot anywhere from the neck up, they will die no matter what. It'll be considered a headshot. And now they've also made a change to arms. So the issue before is shots made to the arms and chest area. If they hit you in the arm, you could take a lot more bullets as opposed to getting shot in the chest. So before, arms only had a 0.75 multiplier damage, but now they're up to 1 times. So meaning it'll do more damage if you shoot someone in the arms, and you don't have to worry about, you know, shooting 3 times and then them still being alive. Now they will actually either die or be downed, and it'll be about equivalent to shooting someone in the chest. So this makes it much more consistent and easier to secure kills and not have to worry about, do I have to keep firing nonstop to make sure they're dead, or can I just shoot them a few times, know that they'll die, and then move on? And lastly, they also changed the headshot multiplier for shotguns. What this means is before, actually for a while now, shotguns will not get you an instant headshot if, say, one of the pellets hits them in the head. You need a lot more damage to the head to actually get what is considered a headshot. So before it used to be a 1.5 times damage multiplier, now it is reduced to 1. What this means is that headshots from a shotgun from far away are much less likely, and you will actually need to be right close to the operator to kill them with a headshot. Otherwise, you're just looking for body shots, which technically the arm change for damage multiplier is an indirect buff to shotguns, because that means if you're just aiming for the body and hitting arms instead with your shotgun, you will still be doing a lot of damage to them. So that means headshots less likely, arm shots that will do more damage much more likely with a shotgun. So it's kind of a give and take with that. Alright, and moving on to weapon balancing. So the SMG-11, as many of you may know, is losing its ACOG sight. And the reason they did this is because they just don't want secondary weapons competing with primary weapons for what you choose an operator for. They want you to choose an operator based on their ability and their primary weapons, not just because they have the pocket sniper that you choose them. And then next they have changes to Caveira, Blackbeard, and Capitão. So Caveira's pistol has now been slightly buffed, where the damage fall off is not as severe as it was before. It still overall has the same, where at 0 feet it does 105 damage and at 15 feet it does 20 damage. That stays the same. What changed is the curve at which the damage falls as it travels. So it'll do more damage the closer it is, and then eventually when it reaches 15 it just evens out at 20. And moving on, so Blackbeard and Capitão have both received nerfs. People are kind of, half and half on whether Blackbeard deserved his. I think the benefits of his shield should be off-put by the lower damage of his gun. He shouldn't have a really powerful gun combined with a really powerful ability. I think this will definitely even him out, and I think it's pretty well deserved. Capitão, on the other hand, has received a nerf to his damage, which myself and a lot of people in the community have disagreed with. Overall, I don't think this was really necessary, but I'm assuming based on their stats that they have, they could see that Capitão just had way too many kills with the para, and maybe it just needed a slight nerf. And next, this is not really a gun change, but Recruit has lost one of his barbed wires, which I think makes sense. I think Bandit should be the only operator to actually be able to receive 3 barbed wire, because his kit actually works with that. Having Recruits to have 3 barbed wire doesn't really make sense. It made for a lot of fun tactics and made it interesting when you went all Recruit and just barbed wire the entire area, but overall it just really was not something that was necessary. But anyways, moving on. So this is more about the nitty-gritty details of how Siege works. So I'm not going to go through this entire thing because this is a lot to digest about how MMR works, but they will now be changing how MMR ranks you in the ranked system. If you just read the too long didn't read at the top, they basically went over that the MMR system didn't really judge you based on your skill, which you can see in some people who are like platinum who play like shit, kind of like me, or people who are in silver and just really should not be there. They should be a lot higher. So now with the hard reset and revamping of the MMR system, it'll be a much better judge of character of who should be where and actually making competent matchups. Which I believe this might have been one of the issues as to why there were a lot of platinum versus gold matches. The reason would be that people who are in gold have the same MMR rank as someone in platinum, it's just the difference of elo. And so that means that a team in gold who should be in platinum would be matched up against platinum, but then they would say if they lost in that match, then they just keep getting farther down. And now with this new system, if you should be in platinum, it'll be easier for you to get there and stay there. So on the overall, there's really no downside to this. This is basically just an improved matchmaking system for ranked, and overall I'm just happy that they're finally addressing some of the issues. It's not fun when we're doing a ranked grind to diamond and we're facing just all gold or even silver teams. That should not be happening. This is a much better change, and I'm happy it's finally being put through. Now something else that is being added, actually I'll go over, they're changing the weekly challenges so now they give you more renown and they're actually difficult, as opposed to shoot your gun 10 times and get 200 renown. No, now they're actually challenges that will take you some time and will give you a decent amount of renown. But the next thing that's being changed in ranked is the 3-minute action phase. So currently the biggest difference between ESL and online ranked is that there's a 1-minute difference. In ranked play currently it's a 4-minute timer, meaning from the end of prep phase to the end you have 4 minutes to attack objective. And now they're changing that down to 3, which is in line with the ESL standard of 3 minutes per action phase. Overall, I'm pretty happy about this change because matches sometimes take way too long and are just unnecessarily drawn out because two people, say it's a 1v1, they're just going to take it extremely slow when they shouldn't be. Like, this should be a high pressure game where you are forced to attack objective and not take things too slowly. Obviously, you don't want to go too far and make it a run and gun game where you have no time and you just have to go in and kill everyone. No, that's not what's happening. This is basically just addressing the issue of games taking too long because everything's getting drawn out. And they have mentioned in the patch notes that this is just a test. This is not something that's for sure going to be implemented forever. This is just something that they want to test for now and see how people receive it. On the overall, I'm happy about it right now, but you'll see me as I go through my ranked season and I'll let you know for sure what I think later on. Overall though, I don't think there's any possible downside to this. And lastly, I'm just going to go over the main gameplay fixes that they've made in the bug fixes. I'm not going to go through every single thing as there is a lot here for you to digest, and most of it is very minor stuff which I don't want to take up 10 minutes just explaining each one. So the main things I will talk about are the gameplay fixes, and I'll look over the operator fixes and just give you a brief overview of those. So one thing that's changing which might impact the game a lot is the invulnerability state. So I've complained about this before, and so have others, that when someone gets downed, it takes too long to kill them. So they have decreased the amount of time that you're invulnerable to, not make it impossible to kill people before you get killed by someone else. But there's still some invulnerability frames. Don't think it's completely gone. That's not true. There will be still some time where you will not be killed while you're down. And next is a generic. Sometimes you're invisible. They fixed that. I never faced that issue, so I'm not too sure what it's about. Nitrocell not doing damage when it's on a metal beam is something that I've been complaining about for a long time. So say you throw your nitrocell and it gets stuck on the roof, and then the metal beam just absorbs all of the damage. It only goes out one way, which is usually towards you, and doesn't actually hurt the enemy, which is bullshit. It's a C4, it's an explosion. It should be an area of effect. It's not going to be funneled and stopped completely by a metal beam. So that's a good change, I find. They've also added some ammo to the PMM, which is, I think, Fuse's pistol, as well as most of the other Spetsnaz pistols. So that's good for Fuse shields, which has apparently come back and become a bigger thing. And this is one huge fix that I'm happy they finally did, is impact grenades. Like half the time in a match when we're making holes in walls, you'll throw an impact grenade and it'll only make a hole on one side. The worst part is that it's not the same for everybody. We've had matches where we throw a grenade at a wall, and for me and Clayton, both, we can't jump through it, but then our teammates just vault right through and they're going through walls on our screen. So hopefully this bug is completely fixed and this won't be an issue in the future, because impact grenades not actually exploding a wall can be a huge issue in a match, where needing to know and needing to be able to go through different areas is a huge aspect of winning. They also removed getting a negative points when you kill someone who's down but not out when they're your teammate, which isn't really an issue. Operators not holding their sidearms properly, just graphical fixes. Rubber banding is a big one, meaning there are some places where, especially on yacht, so in yacht casino room, when you breach what I think is the west side, whatever is facing the lounge, when you breach that wall, 9 times out of 10 you can't actually walk through it. You just rubber band back and forth. You can't crawl through it, you can't crouch through it, you just can't go through it. Happens a lot, so hopefully they've actually fixed that this time. They've said they fixed it before, but it came back anyways, so we'll see. And they also fixed shield operators going through destructible walls. So what this basically means is operators who had a shield would be able to clip through walls, and you'd be able to see, like, say their leg, and then say, oh, shield's over here, just shoot them. So that's hopefully a lot more fixed now, but we'll see how much they really quote-unquote fixed it. Not being informed on your renown penalty is really not an issue for me. Physics on destruction of photo frames and paintings on wall are not aligned. So I think this is to address the whole, when you're putting up a reinforced wall, sometimes pictures don't fall off. I'm not too sure if that's actually what they're discussing, but I guess just a minor fix which helps the gameplay atmosphere. Throwing back grenades has a skewed I can't say that word. Throwing back grenades has a skewed trajectory. There we go. So for those of you who don't know, you can actually throw back grenades. Doesn't really happen too much because, especially in ranked play, people will cook their grenade for as long as they can to ensure that it kills you instantly and doesn't get caught by ADSs. But yeah, you can actually throw back a grenade. So apparently that was a little wonky, but I don't think almost any of us have ever had to deal with that, because I can safely say for myself that I've never actually thrown back a grenade. And wood debris getting stuck on the edge of the destructible surfaces. So I believe what this is referring to is when you would shoot a hole in a wall, and then the debris on the wall, or even a debris from the door, would get stuck in the hole and just float there. But the issue being is that it's not always the same for every person. So say I hit a hole in a doorway and a giant piece of wood is just floating there. Then an enemy comes by and they can see me clear as day through the hole, but I can't see them because the debris is still in the way. This is a huge issue, especially when you're trying to peek or try to gauge where someone is, or even just shooting them through a destructible wall. If you can't see them but they can see you, that is a huge issue. So hopefully that is completely fixed and we won't have to deal with that again. Actually, I was going to go through the operator fixes, but really they're nothing special. A lot of them are just interactions between different gadgets and visual glitches that happen when a certain thing happens while you're using your gadget. But yeah, for the most part, that is it for today. These are all the patch notes. If you really want to see and read through everything, I will put the link in the description so you can look at it. Besides that, I think I've touched on all of my thoughts and all of the details to go with this patch note, so just let me know what you think. If you want to comment, let me know, and I'll get back to you guys in the comments. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hey everyone, Chris here from Varsity Gaming. Just wanted to let you know that our new Siege-inspired shirt is now available on Teespring called Armor Down. The link to the shop is on the screen and in the description, and the shirt's only available until November 28th, so make sure to grab one while you still can. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.